So I'm in Copenhagen for a few days. We came here for work, had to meet some shops for my last project. And let's say hi. I'm with her and she cannot go into basically any museum. I think a few museums that us in with her, but not many. And I thought about taking the time to make a video because last year I started with vibe coding. It was something extremely interesting. We went to just making startups to launch your own startups, and I started launching a lot of micro solutions for me and my wife and my friends, and then this became a thing. And then slowly and steady, I became more confident on the things I could build. And we end up building with my co-founder a lot of like fun stuff. So in the past year with Ramon, we ramp up our financial application. We relaunched it with a new name. It's now called Dotio, Dotio altogether. That's the brand. And basically what we did was to create this financial application with an agentic layer that will do work that freelancers, professionals, and small businesses need to perform on a financial level. The paradigm is shifting right now on creation. I think the next milestone for agents could be to replace a lot of the manual unnecessary work that doesn't add value. I've been experimenting with agents in the past like 2 years already now, and I can tell you that without that knowledge, without that expertise, the agents will do nothing. But also the playground, like if you take Dotio for example, if you're talking about semantic data, if you're talking about semantic structured data or on semantic search, there will be a time in the near future where agents will be capable of doing most of the things people do in finance. But the expertise, the capacity to distinguish between what's real and what's not, what is database and what's not. If you vibe code or if you use coding tools, you will learn this very fast. The agents turn to take a very simple matter and overcomplicate things. A big example of this is when you ask an agent, I have to take my car 2 blocks to get washed. Should I walk or should I take the car? And the AI agent will reply, you should walk. Right. This is kind of the same. When we're talking about financial information, we have a lot of tools out there that are crazy, and they will tell you, yes, this can do this, and that. But the truth is, when you have thousands of transactions, the agent will fail because the memory will be completely disseminated by the context. So there is a point where agents will go into the playground, absorb so much information, and the context will kill the logic. Nothing to do with the example of the car. With that, we discovered that we were entering a world where agents will be doing most of the work, not humans. So we start thinking with Ramon, okay, we are putting too much emphasis in developing like a extremely good UI and UX when most of the agents will be doing the future work. So we thought about creating the financial infrastructure layer for agents in Dotio. So we build what it calls Dotio Labs. Dotio Labs is kind of the spin-off. I think a good spin-off, not like all regular spin-offs. They're shit. Where actually we enable Grok, Claude, and ChatGPT to go into Dotio and operate with Dotio and just extract information without the user actually having to use the application itself. And I think that's the power of agentic finance in the future where agents will do most of our work. And I need to move because there are people coming by. I'm quite alone, but every time I start talking, like there's a person passing by, and I know if I'm overly conscious of what I say or not say. Very bad things. So I was saying that we feel developing a financial application. We strongly believe in that. We have agents running financial functions for small SMBs and freelancers and professionals. We are rethinking how we approach the financial application because there is one important thing. People will, I think, at some point stop using applications so much So we build more than a financial layer. We build financial infrastructure for agents. We are like creating a spin-off, which is basically leverage what we learned about small businesses, about how they do their finances, and just create a framework that will be useful for agentics. I think that's the power of like doing so many things and trying to iterate, that you end up discovering that something you were not thinking about is actually working better than it's supposed to. So when we created the agents for the agent orchestration for Dotio, I realized that everyone was struggling with semantic and or with RAG or structured data and the semantic layer. We did it right, and the agents were responding. The agents were really accurate on providing that information. So we wanted to extend that to other agents, to ChatGPT, to Claude, to Grok, and give those agents a space to use Dotio without having to use them. I think that's it. I think that's the power of agentic finance. I think creating that infrastructure layer is something that we wanted to achieve, and it's a byproduct of what we did for the core application. Now we are trying to make sure that other agents, other applications can use Dotio financial layer to run their application.